Oh boy, Star Wars Battlefront 2, my most anticipated game of the year. I can't wait for... Wait a minute. Early access and weapon pre-orders? Hero locks? You're telling me I can't play Darth Vader right out the gate? And oh god. No. Why? Why does every game have to have shitty ass loot boxes? God damn it. No. God, no. Another year, another big shooter from EA. Only this time around, they went too far. They monumentally fucked up this time. Before I get any further, I just want to say I absolutely love Star Wars. It is one of my most favorite franchises out there. I grew up watching the original movies on VHS. It's fantastic. And when I saw that they were making Battlefront 2, a sequel to the previous game they made 2 years ago, I was blown back by the trailer. It looked fantastic. It looked like they made a lot of improvements from the previous game, which was just pretty shallow with its content. It just was lacking what the original games actually had. Even though Battlefront 2 looked amazing, this is EA we're talking about. And EA found a way to fuck it up. Before I dig a little deeper into the new Battlefront 2, I actually want to talk about an old classic. That's right. I'm talking about the original Battlefront 2. This game is looking as fresh as it did when it came out 1,000 years ago. Even though it's an old game though, it's still a pretty good game. I still enjoy it. They actually opened the multiplayer servers recently to build up the hype. Let's just say the servers are complete ass. So yeah, let's not fuck with that. This game was one of my favorites growing up. Man, this, Kingdom Hearts 2, Destroy All Humans, those are all my jam. Man, if you never played this game growing up, what the fuck's wrong with you? Did your parents mistreat you or something? Were you abused as a child? Go fucking play this game. It's like $5 on Steam or something, man. Dudes, when this game came out, it had it all. Space battles, clone troopers, galactic conquest, wrist rockets, roly boys, tall boys. You got fucking heroes, no microtransactions or loot box bullshit. This game was the shit back in the day. And nothing feels more better than to just mow down hordes of sick rebel scum as Darth Vader. I can recreate the scene from Rogue One, it's fantastic. Growing up as a kid while playing this game, you truly weren't considered a man unless you had played the map Kashyyyk on extra large. That shit was balls deep, crazy as fuck, too many guys on the damn screen, you don't know what you're doing half the time. Half the kids in my school were diagnosed with PTSD just playing that. You know, I'm still amazed that Pandemic Studios, the developer who worked on the original Battlefront, was able to stuff in all this premium content back in 2005. It was amazing. They put a lot of hard work into it. Now let's just take a look at EA and DICE.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
How does Battlefront 2 play? The team at DICE in Stockholm has some of the most talented multiplayer designers in the world, and they've been working with the EA Game Changers to make sure Star Wars Battlefront 2 has the multiplayer we're all looking for. But EA didn't just stop there. We loved the previous Battlefront of 2015.
I don't know about that.
There's still time to change something if it's not working. There's going to be more content. You're going to have to get used to a lot of new different techniques on how to play.
And really, you're going to have to buy it because it's pay to win. Because there's going to be a clear advantage to some of these cards.
But this is the real thing, okay? All the bells and whistles, all the newness. But before we take you there,
One Redditor even went to the effort of making a spreadsheet where they found it would be 11 times more efficient to buy loot crates and dismantle the star cards for credits than actually play the game.
the team at DICE heard our feedback loud and clear on the previous Battlefront and are committed to keeping this community together.
With Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's pay to win. It's pay to win. That's right, it's pay to win.
Star Wars is not just some checklist of great features. New essential Star Wars story. Multiplayer across all 3 Star Wars eras, space battles, split-screen co-op, and free content that will keep us playing together for years to come.
This sucks pee-pee.
I still can't believe EA thought they could get away with this ugly, money-making corporate scheme. They really thought they could shove a pay-to-win system in our motherfucking Star Wars game. They were dead wrong. The entire video game community stood up against EA in what I think was historic for video game history. We let them know that this wasn't okay. We can't just sit idly by while these big companies try to make as much money off of us as they can. Paying $60 is enough for a game, and it's terrible when companies try to force you to spend more on a game. But after so much pressure, EA decided to finally listen to the fans for once. They turn off the microtransactions, and I think that's great. It shows they're willing to listen. But, and there's a catch, it's only a temporary thing, unfortunately.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
They already stated they want to bring back the microtransactions, but they never stated in detail what that's going to look like. I'm hoping that with their future changes, they'll just ditch the pay-to-win model they were using and just make it to where you can only buy cosmetics instead. It worked great for Overwatch, and it can work for Star Wars. Alright, it's time to get to the nitty-gritty of it. Time to talk about the actual game, the new Battlefront 2. Yeah, I actually bought the game. I feel a little bad for doing it because I hate having to support EA, but this is a review video. I had to get my copy, so let's peep it out. I gotta say, so far, I'm enjoying the game. DICE added more content here since the previous Battlefront, since it was argued that it was too shallow and didn't have enough content. Now, of course, the graphics for this game are amazing, and the sound design is fantastic. The gunplay itself is also pretty solid. Those are all things that DICE got right on the last Battlefront. Let's talk about the campaign first. The campaign was better than I expected. You start off playing as Iden, an Imperial Commando. In the first 3 missions, they were pretty great. They got you sneaking around, blasting rebel scum in the face, blowing up rebel scum in space, and avenging your Imperial brethren. But then the Empire just fucks up and decides to do some stupid shit. So Iden sides with the rebels, and for once, I found myself siding with them too. I guess that makes me a traitor. Most of the campaign was fine, but some parts were a little lackluster, like the mission on Bespin. Other parts of the campaign let you play as Luke, Han, and even Lando, who's one of my favorite characters, but it still felt out of place. They should have just focused the campaign solely on Iden and fleshed out her character more. It wasn't that long of a campaign either. I ended up beating it in 5.5 hours. Yeah, not too long. It had its fun moments, but it was nothing special. The game's got arcade mode like the last one, but it's pretty fucking boring. All it is test out a character, kill X amount of rebels in X amount of time. They should have put more work into it. And now let's talk about multiplayer, the big reason why most people bought the game. The multiplayer for the most part is pretty solid, just like the previous game. It's got a few game modes like Galactic Assault, which is the most popular one so far. It's a large 20 versus 20 game mode. You've got specific objectives to complete. It can get pretty fast paced and crazy. Then we've got my favorite mode, Starfighter Assault, which lets you pilot a ship. In this you also have certain objectives to follow, but it just feels so satisfying to pilot these, and it makes you feel like you're actually in Star Wars. I enjoy it. There's the classic heroes versus heroes like in the old Battlefront 2. There's only 8 players in it, but it can be pretty enjoyable as long as you don't have a stupid ass team. There are 2 other game modes, Strike and Blast, but I haven't bothered with them, so fuck it. While I am enjoying the multiplayer so far, it's not without its faults. First off, the progression system is god-awful. It mostly consists of playing matches to earn credits to buy loot crates. And in the loot crates you get random things. But the loot crates end up being pretty pricey, and you don't get a lot of credits from a multiplayer match. On top of that, with the loot crates, you end up getting these star cards, which are the biggest piece of fucking shit in this game. They give your character improved stats and buffs, which is complete horseshit. Players who have a lot of these good star cards can just absolutely dominate the field, while someone who is newer and doesn't have as many will get anally devastated. I don't know what the fuck DICE was thinking about with this loot crate progression system. I mean, they made the Battlefield games, for crying out loud. They had a progression system that made a lot more sense, it was more simple, and it just worked. It was class progression. Next off is the heroes. In the previous Battlefront, you could only get one hero on the field per team. But in this one, each team can get as many as 4 heroes in the match, which makes it ridiculously unfair to the team who has to deal with Darth Maul, Vader, Boba Fett, and the Emperor coming after them. Not to mention that whoever gets the hero earliest in the game ends up dominating the match, and the bullshit hero star cards don't fucking help. Just look at this shit. Right now, in its current stage, the multiplayer feels unbalanced, and the terrible progression system isn't helping right now. I'm only level 10, and I haven't hit the grind wall yet, but I'm scared that when I hit that wall, my progression is gonna stop, and I won't be having as much fun anymore. DICE has a lot of work till they can get this all sorted out. You know, DICE used to be one of my favorite game developers back in the day when they were working on Bad Company 1 and 2, Battlefield 3. I had a lot of fun with those games. But I can't believe that right now they're just letting themselves get pushed around by EA. I can't believe they let them fucking implement this shitty loot box system and this pay-to-win bullcrap. At this point, DICE has just become EA's little bitch. They tell them to bend over, and they bend over. Well, it's time for the final verdict. What am I gonna score the game? In its current state, the game's still got too many issues. It's terribly unbalanced. The progression system is absolute bullshit. The star cards are annoying, and the fact EA almost turned this game into a microtransaction-ridden pay-to-win fuckfest all leave a sour taste in my mouth. While it can still be fun and it's got some charm to it, I gotta rate it a 5 out of 10. Now, if DICE can fix some of these issues, like completely redoing the progression system, balance the game out, making star cards less powerful, more credits at the end of a match, and having future microtransactions as cosmetics only, that'll fix a lot of the issues I see in it right now. Hell, I'd give it a 7, maybe even an 8 out of 10 if they can do that, but I doubt they will, since most of that shit's already ingrained into the game. If you're a big fan of Star Wars, get it if you want to, you might find some value in it. If you're not too big into Star Wars, then skip it completely. Don't get the game, EA doesn't deserve your money. I really hope in the future that DICE and EA will learn from this fucking horrendous launch. This has got to be the worst video game launch I can remember in years. And, you know, if they try to pull any more bullshit like this off in the future, I hope they realize they're not going to make any more money. They're going to lose money. Just like the $60 I lost on this fucking game. So in the meantime, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one.
Told me to get